I wasn't completely bed bound. I could still get up and move to the sofa and things like that. But yeah, just 24/7. My main thing was just feeling like I had the flu all the time. Like my body was just really aching. It's like a sick, I can't explain it. It's like in my bones, it was like a horrible fatigue, and I'll get this shooting pain going through my muscles and felt like bones and brain fog, my headache. I felt really depressed. I couldn't do anything, like physically still not great, but mentally, like I couldn't even get myself out of the bed because I just couldn't see a point of anything. I was really, really low. I can literally do everything. Playing football now every week. I can play the full game. I can push myself. I'm back at the gym. I'm working out. I can lift heavy. Like I remember that was a big moment where I was like in the gym and I was really like actually working out, like lifting weights again. I was like, wow, like feeling that pump. And yeah, you get some pain afterwards, but good pain. Like you can tell the difference. It's not CFS crash. And that was just like, I was so happy to feel that. I was like, oh yes, my chest, like it hurts, but it feels amazing.
How's it going, Thrivers? Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, we have Michael all the way from London, England, and he's been on quite the journey for just a few years, but he's gone through the journey. He's been in the trenches. At his worst, he was extremely symptomatic, spent a lot of time on the couch, and now he is fully functional, working his way back into life and really just living life, reaching that thriving health level in his journey. So Michael, great to have you here. Want to quickly introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, yeah. So I'm Michael. I'm 26. So I always have to think about my age, how old I am. Yeah, I'm 26 from London. I've always lived here. And yeah, got CFS about 3 years ago. And yeah, fully back to normal now. Thriving. Like, I'm happy.
Yeah. And, people are seeing you here, smile on your face, good energy, but you've been through the trenches just like me as well. I look like a normal person. Well, now I'm thriving as well, but been through the trenches. But take us back. How did all of this start? So this was about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something that triggered all of it, or how did this all come about?
So it was 3 years ago, and I've fully like realized something was wrong. That was like, I just remember August 2021 is when I was like, something's not right. But to be fair, it's actually probably another, I don't know, I'd say like quite a few months before that as well, where I was just kind of gradually getting worse and worse. I just felt really on edge a lot of the time, really irritable. I get angry quite a lot. I was just anxious because I remember basically during the pandemic, there was a lockdown and everything, and we couldn't leave. And work was very stressful as well during that time. And I just remember I couldn't go out, obviously, with the lockdown and stuff like that, apart from work. But I remember when the restrictions lifted and stuff, when I started going out, I just felt really, I don't know, just really a lot more anxious than I'd felt before. Like just my heart rate was just driving. I was like, I just feel really, I don't know, anxious all the time. I don't know, but I didn't think much of it because in the past I've had a lot of anxiety and issues. And going back, I had dualization, depersonalization, which I got when I was about 13. And that's a whole different story, and it took me a while to get over that. But yeah, I noticed myself just feeling more and more anxious and reactive to a lot of things. Yeah, and then physical symptoms started. I don't know, I'll be sleeping maybe like sometimes 11, 12 hours sometimes, and I kept on saying, I was like, I'm getting all this sleep, but I just don't feel refreshed. And I started pushing myself, thinking, okay, maybe if I start sleeping less, and pushing myself more, because it's going to somehow fix me. Like, because I'd look at my friends, they'll get 6 hours sleep and they'll go for a run in the morning, do a workout. And I'm like, I'm getting 11 hours sleep and I'm struggling to kind of keep up. So yeah, I'd started basically pushing myself more in an unhealthy way. And
it was a slow onset, or it wasn't like all of a sudden something happened and went off a cliff. It was like, it kind of reminds me of my story. Like, there were definitely a lot of symptoms building up over time, and anxiety was one of the first ones. It was anxiety and like overthinking. I couldn't slow down my thoughts, but then that led to insomnia as well. I was either sleeping a ton or I wasn't sleeping at all. It was really interesting. So what else happened? And I try to push through it, just like you.
Yeah.
Try to push through, right?
And that's where it all kind of starts. The more you resist it, push through it, and the worse it gets. So yeah, it's weird because I did have insomnia wasn't one of my main issues. I did have it, especially at the worst when I was in the APs. That's when I was so exhausted and like tired, and my body was hurting and everything, but I just could not sleep. I was just, anything could wake me up. Like, everyone knew me as like the guy who just sleeps for ages. Like, I've always slept a long time and even recovered now. I still need my 8-9 hours sleep. If I like, that's my optimal amount. Obviously I can have less and I'm fine. But yeah, I wouldn't wake up to anything. But when I got CFS, just any little noise, anything, it would just wake me up. I had to put ear plugs in, like put an eye mask to sleep on, which I'd never done that before. But yeah, basically leading up to it, it was gradual, but at the time it felt like, what's happened to me? But thinking back on it, there were things leading up. I was getting worse and worse and worse. Basically, just put me over the edge, and I was, work stress leading up to that. I was trying to come off antidepressants that I'd been on for a long time from the derealization that I got when I was like 13. And I wasn't coming off them the right way. The doctor gave me the wrong advice and said I need to skip days instead of lowering the dose, which is like terrible advice, because you're meant to take it every day because the half-life is like a certain amount of time, and I think that contributed a lot to it as well, because I was kind of cold turkeying myself like every few days.
That's so aggressive on the nervous system. It's like cold turkey, then reintroduce, then cold turkey. That's crazy, dude.
So when I think back, I'm like, that's definitely contributed. And this was all at the same time. Just before that, a few months, when actually things started to go down, I was really stressed at work. I was basically managing work during the pandemic. There was shortage of staff. I was basically doing everything, and I didn't get any any thanks for it really from the company. And it made me just feel really, I don't know, can't describe it. You know, when you just do a load of work and you're like, what did I do all that for? Like, you're quite bitter as well about it.
Resentful, right?
Yeah. And I think that was the very beginning of that's when I started like going slowly down. I felt a bit better like 3 days after, and then for like a week I was just feeling again rough, not right. So I done a really intense workout with my friend, and my main symptom leading up and my main kryptonite was just heavy achy legs. I'd like struggle to just stand up for a long time. So I thought, okay, let me do a really hardcore leg workout, go as heavy as I can, do as many reps as I can, absolutely obviously, it didn't end well. Like, the workout.
What was the logic behind that? Because I've done that before too, but I want to hear your reasoning for why you did that.
So there's quite a few different things, because I was thinking maybe my legs are weak because I used to work out my upper body a lot, and I thought maybe my legs can't hold up my upper body weight, which is stupid because I'm not exactly huge, where my legs can't hold my weight. But that was one thing. I was like, I think my legs are just weak. And then the other thing was, again, like I just thought by pushing against how I'm like, if I'm feeling crap all the time, if I really push myself and I would like push through it kind of thing. Because in the past, when I've had a cold or a flu, I'd obviously be ill, and then I'll like play football, even still when I've got the cold. But it really actually helped me get better. In the past, like it kind of almost kind of clear it out. Kind of, I guess I'd sweat it out or whatever. So I kind of thought, if I just push through this, it's gonna strengthen my legs, and this problem's gonna go away. And literally, that was my first AP. After that, my first like official AP was a few days after that. I woke up and I was just like, oh my God, like, like obviously I'd always have, after any workout, you have soreness and everything like that. But this was like, I felt really fluey, like everything was hurting. My mood was like, I looked pale. My digestion was awful. Like I'm not going to go into detail with that, but it wasn't pleasant. Just everything really. And then that went on for about, it was like really bad for about 2-3 weeks. I couldn't go into work, and I kept on hoping. I was like, it's going to go away next week. Next week I'll be fine. It's just something, like, I was like, something's wrong, but I was like, I think maybe if I just do absolutely nothing now for 2-3 weeks, I'll get better. And it was after about 3 weeks, roughly, I was feeling a bit better, like the really intense symptoms and fatigue kind of lifted a bit. And I done a workout on the punch bag, and I'd done about 10-15 minutes, and it wasn't intense, but it wasn't very soft either. Like, it was just a pretty average workout after not doing anything for 3 weeks. But I was like, okay, I'm feeling a bit better. But there's still a huge part of me that was like, oh God, like I already kind of, it's almost like a self-fulfilling, like,
Did you crash?
I was already like, yeah, I just like straight back to, I was like, what the hell? Like, all I done was a 10-15 minute punch bag workout. I haven't done anything for 3 weeks. Like, what's going on? Like, and that's when I really like, what do I do? And I came across CFS online pretty quickly when I put in my symptoms, and then that just made me just feel so hopeless. And oh my God, it was terrible. I was going through these forums like, oh, I've had this for 25 years or whatever, and you're never going to recover from this. You're doomed, basically. And that just, I can't explain the feeling. Honestly, it's like every time I see a comment like that or something, it just like stabbing feeling in my chest. Like, I'll just be like, oh my God, like my life is over, basically. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's almost like that feeling of being deflated. Like, you're looking for hope. You're seeing these stories of like, oh, you can get better. And you see that one comment, it's like, had this for 30 years. It doesn't get better. It actually only gets worse. And it's like, all that hope gets deflated, essentially. So on the timeline of, your journey, when was this? When you did that workout, like way overdid it, and then you hit this wall? Roughly when was that?
So that was in around August, September. So the building up to that was like 6 months prior. I had my vaccine in July, start of July, or mid-July.
Which year?
I remember.
August.
In 2021. So it all started in 2021, basically.
This was 3 years,
about 3 years ago. Yeah. Obviously the build-up of stress and everything probably started from like January that year. Had the vaccine in, I think it was mid-July, and then it was like a few weeks after that in August when I done that workout, and then really just and then the workout again after that, where it's just really just hit the wall and realized that something's wrong, basically.
Yeah. So what happened over the next several months? Like, did it just continue going downhill, or every time you try to do something, it's just like a new low and a new low? Or what did that look like?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's kind of weird. It was like really bad to begin with, and it kind of stayed at that level for a long time. I didn't get much lower because I've already was pretty low. Thankfully, I wasn't completely bedbound. I could still get up and move to the sofa and things like that. But yeah, just 24/7. My main thing was just feeling like I had the flu all the time. Like my body was just really aching. It's like a sick, I can't explain it. It's like in my bones, it was like a horrible fatigue, and I'll get this shooting pain going through my muscles and felt like bones, and brain fog, my headache, just watching TV. I remember watching sport on TV, and it would just make my heart rate just really go up. I was like, how these people do that? Like, it's almost like my brain completely reset. I was like, how do people like do anything? And I was like, but I used to do that, but now I was like, I can't do anything. And how can people do that? And it just made me feel even worse watching sport on TV. So I had to stop watching sport, any crazy. I used to watch a lot of like UFC and boxing and stuff like that. I feel like that really stimulated my nervous system leading up to it as well, because I was really into that. And yeah, I had to stop all that. Almost had to change like a lot of my personality, really, and really almost I didn't really do anything really.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Even just imagining running again, you're like, you start to feel the symptoms, and it's like, this doesn't make sense. For me, I used to play soccer and football, rugby, track and field. I used to sprint. And now even just thinking about it, I can't even fathom how my body was able to handle that. It's like, it was just a different reality. My mind couldn't process how people could do that because it's so broken. So it's like such a weird headspace to be in.
Yeah.
It's, did you kind of feel like you were living in this bubble as well, or like a different reality?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, I've always had, different reality in a mental sense, like with the dualization, depersonalization, that's always been like an issue, but as well with like physical and being able to do things. Yeah, you just fill me with dread when anything that involved moving basically, or exercise or stairs or anything. I'd feel like this feeling of dread, like, oh my God, like I can't deal with that. I have feeling like when it would be really bad, because for a long time I kind of got like a new baseline where I wasn't doing anything basically, but I was feeling not as awful as it did right when it started. So I was almost kind of settling for that. I'd kind of be like, I don't want to do anything because I'm kind of here now. I'm still like really symptomatic and everything, but I'm not like down here where I was like excruciating pain all over, just staring at the ceiling, like trying to get some relief. So when I was kind of, I don't know, symptom wise, maybe at an 8 or something instead of a 10, I kind of was like, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to go back to a 10 basically. So I kind of
it's like, it's not so bad, but it's also not great. So you're kind of like in this cruise control, but it's like a safety area where it's not horrible. Like you're getting by, but you also, on the flip side of it, you feel like it's too much of a risk to try to increase activity because you might flare up and then go all the way back down. So it's like you're in the safe zone. Right?
Yeah, that was mainly more later on, where it was like, basically I say that safe zone kind of gradually got a bit better, and I could do a bit more and bit more. I'll keep on dipping in and having like really rough days and APs from doing, again, really little things. But it kind of got a bit better. And obviously I came across your page. I came across, like, I feel like when I found out, that just gave me so much hope. And I feel like I kind of actually felt a bit more confident to kind of maybe do a bit more, because I'm like, it just took a lot of the weight off when I came across your channel. I was like, oh my God, like this guy gets it, and he's recovered, and he's still recovered, and he's not relapsed and all this stuff. And so I just stayed in that comfortable kind of, no, it's not comfortable, but a bit more comfortable than rock bottom for quite a while.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff were you trying to do to fix this before, you finally figured out something that works? Did you try all like the acupuncture or the massage or supplements? What did that look like?
Yeah, it was supplements, a lot of supplements. I went back on my antidepressants, actually. Sorry, I forgot to mention. basically when the CFS fully in August when it started, that's when I went back on, because my doctor said go back on antidepressants. And actually I did feel slightly better actually going back on them, like just slightly. Yeah, I tried all the vitamins. I was taking loads of vitamins. I was eating healthy food that I really didn't like, but I was like, it's healthy, I need to eat it. I need to just eat whatever's healthy. Yeah, just trying a lot of different things. I went to doctors. I had all sorts of blood tests as well. Nothing came back. Thankfully I didn't spend loads of money on any crazy kind of, I've seen some stories out there about these things where, I don't know, trying to think of some examples, like, I don't know, IV drips, stuff like that. I don't know how much those cost, but
yeah,
like,
there's people who spend like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, like flying to different special treatments in different countries that might work, but then they end up getting worse. So yeah, it's pretty wild the things people try. Like even I tried a whole bunch of stuff, but what were the doctors in England like? What, when you were telling them about these symptoms and nothing was showing up?
So I was seeing a rheumatologist. She done like so many blood tests. I remember they were just like just filling up vials of like my blood, and they got it sent off and all came back fine. Yeah, so she said I'd already known about chronic fatigue at that point because I'd looked up my symptoms, and she was like, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with you, kind of thing. I was like, no, there really is. Like, I'm really like struggling to do anything. Like, I feel horrible. So she diagnosed me with chronic fatigue. Well, she pre-diagnosed me because I think this was like 2-3 months into it. And I think for the diagnosis, you have to have symptoms for 6 months or something. I can't remember what it was.
Like 6 months of persistent symptoms that interfere with daily life, something like that.
Something like that. So she gave me like a what do you call it? A pre-diagnosis, whatever. And yeah, once she gave me that, then I was like, oh, like it's official now. Like,
yeah. Did you go to Google after that to do more research?
Yeah. I was on Google. It was just horrible. Oh my God. And I'll try and, it became like a thing where I'll try and Google and try and find something good that'll make me feel a bit better. And I'd find something, I'd be like, yeah, it's like this. I was chasing this almost like tiny bit of relief, and then you just see something else, and like it'd be like you're screwed basically on the next comment. I'll be like, oh no, I didn't see that. Oh no, I saw it. Oh, I think it's crazy. It's like a big mental battle as well, just trying to just accept what was going on, because there were things I wanted to do. I wanted to progress in my career. I wanted to really get good at boxing because I started doing that. I still played football and everything like that. And I was like, I can't, can't not do those things. I just, it was really difficult.
Oh man, that Googling, it's like walking a minefield. You take one step, you see the wrong thing, and that is like burned into your mind for the next like month.
Yep. Yeah.
It's wild.
Google's dangerous. It's dangerous.
I stay away from it, guys, if you're watching this right now. And like, we can laugh about it now because we've made it to the other side, but we know how bad it can get. You step on the landmine, aka come across a bad, negative post or negative forum. Oh man, like it'll freak you out for sure. Like, even me, if I were to go on there right now, it'd freak me out, and I'm recovering. So
because you start doubting, you really start doubting everything. So you might start building a belief that, okay, I think I can get better and everything, and then you just see that one comment or something, and you start doubting everything all over again. And and sometimes it almost it would put me like in an AP when I would see something so bad. I would just actually feel so much worse as well physically. It's weird. Like when I came across your channel, I remember physically actually feeling, I don't know whether it was just a bit of adrenaline or a bit of like, I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy's better. And I actually I just noticed, I was like, I feel slightly better. And then I felt crap again. But like, I was like, that bit of like having that hope is really important, actually.
Oh,
Knowing that you can get better.
yeah, that's a huge part of the puzzle. And not saying that's everything, but it is a huge starting point. That's kind of like this seed that's planted in the beginning that allows everything else to happen. When you do the brain training and follow the plan and everything. So, what made you decide to get started with the Recovery Academy? Obviously, there's a lot of different solutions online out there, but you found us.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. But what made you pull the trigger?
So it's kind of weird. Well, basically, I was in that place where I had I built a baseline, maybe like a year into this or a year and a bit, where I was from, I don't know, basically the first 6 months were really rough. And then after that, I was still couldn't do anything, couldn't do any exercise or push myself. But I wasn't basically suffering all the time. Like my symptoms were a bit more bearable. So I was kind of expanding a little bit, but keeping it very close. I never actually got signed off work either. Well, I only was off for work when it started for like a month when it first started. And then I went back to work on reduced hours, and I had to reduce my contract to part-time basically because I just couldn't work full-time. In hindsight, when I think back, I wish I just got signed off there and then, but I went back to work all this time. It's only till, basically I was kind of going like this. Like I go to work, get home exhausted, feeling awful, and just sit on the sofa for the whole day, go to bed, work again. All I could do is basically work and go home. And that was it, kind of thing. I could do a bit more than what I could do right in the beginning. But it was still, my life was very limited. And that went on for, so I'm going to try working out all the times for about 2 years altogether. So it was around April, May last year is what really made me decide to actually fully do something about it, because I hadn't joined any program. I'd watch your videos, what's their name, Raylan, as well, on YouTube and different channels. I would almost watch those. They'll reassure me, they'll make me feel a bit better, and then I'll just go back to doing what I was doing, basically not changing a lot of bad habits that I had that I wasn't aware of. And basically I wasn't really getting anywhere. I was just kind of like at this plateau, where I was just, I don't know, I would say myself like maybe 30% recovered. And it was like that for quite a long time. And it was last year around April, I ended up having this crisis, basically. I don't know, it's got a lot of different names. People call it like existential crisis or crisis of meaning, and I just...
Yeah, those are weird. Those are definitely weird, any of those.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like because I was at a point where I just was feeling less and less motivated. Even though my symptoms weren't bad, I just really didn't want to do anything as well. I felt like I couldn't even help myself, and I was like, am I getting depressed? Like, what's going on? And it just gradually got worse. And then I started thinking, like, what's the point of all this? Like, I go to work and I go home, I sit on the sofa, I'm just suffering all the time. I'm not really doing anything. Like, my life I just got sick, basically, of this mundane life of just working, resting, maybe seeing my friends for a little bit. And yeah, it just really, I started questioning everything, basically. What's the actual point of any of this right now? And I got to a really, really bad place. And that's when I got signed off work, because I couldn't work. Like, it was my mood more than anything. Like, the symptoms were still there, but I felt really depressed. I couldn't do anything. Like, physically still not great, but mentally, like, I couldn't even get myself out of the bed because I just couldn't see a point of anything. I was really, really low. So I got signed off work, and then I found a girl called Robin on YouTube, and she basically, I reached out to her and started having like therapy sessions with her, because she kind of had been through an existential crisis. Like, I kind of found out about that on YouTube, and she really helped me. And that's when I started really putting my health first. I was like, I'm just putting all my time and effort into my job, which they don't care about me anyway. They don't. They really like. They prove that they don't care. I'm just this little number. And yeah. So after that, during that crisis and everything, that's when I really took my health into my own hands and actually thought, I'm going to join your program as well. To be fair, I joined that like 5 months later from when that crisis started. But I started actually improving a lot because I was learning a lot of different techniques. And I spoke with a lady who had been on the lightning process as well. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's like kind of similar, but they kind of speed run through it, and it's helped a lot of people. And I had heard from my aunties. My auntie said that she knew someone who had CFS and went on it, and they're better. So I went on it, and that helped me quite a bit. But it didn't. I still couldn't do that much. And yeah, that's when I joined you in October, and then really started building those strong foundations. I feel like it really actually so many things I became aware of that I was like, Jesus Christ, like no wonder I'm sick, but like it kind of brought a lot of things to light, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you started in October, which is maybe about 10 months ago, and really turned things around. And I remember October compared to now, you made tons of progress. Obviously, you got your life back. You're functional. You can pretty much do nearly everything you want to do at this point. You're pretty much there. What were some of the biggest things that helped you that you did? Like if people watching right now are thinking, wow, how did you go from having an existential crisis and tons of symptoms and really having no traction or momentum at all to going back to like living a pretty normal life, back to thriving health? Like what were some of the biggest things that helped you, biggest mind shifts you had, things like that?
Yeah. I'd say taking every day, just day by day, kind of just taking it day by day. Just don't think about what happened before or in like what's coming up in a few weeks or this or that. I'll just really focus on each day. What can I do today to make myself just feel even 5% better? Like I really started to actually make it a priority to look after myself and not put myself last. Stopped a lot of the people pleasing because I feel like I've done that quite a lot. And meditation really helped me. I know for a lot of people it didn't, and for yourself, I remember you saying meditation didn't work as well for yourself, but for me it really helped. Really helped me with the crisis and with my CFS. Like really just becoming aware of how I'm reacting to things, how I'm feeling, and these patterns that are going on that I wasn't even aware of, and these responses. It just really started to help. And I'll do like full body nervous system relaxation kind of meditations where you just lay down, you shut your eyes, and you do like breathing. You breathe in, then take a long exhale, and then visualize your muscles relaxing. I'll do that for I've done that every day. It was like a 40-minute long kind of meditation. I've done that every single day. That really helped calm my body down because, as everyone knows, I feel wired a lot of the time. Like I feel tense a lot of the time. That kind of wired feeling, that would kind of really almost let everything kind of just loosen, and I'd feel a lot more relaxed after that. So yeah, that really helps. God, there's so many things. I'm like, I should have been a bit more prepared for this. I was like gonna write everything down, but I was like, I should be able to.
Yeah, that's okay. Because if you prepare too much, then you have pre-planned answers. It's better off the top of your head almost. But
yeah,
what was the first biggest win you had when you started implementing a lot of the stuff and joining the calls? Because you've been on a lot of calls, really just soaking up the knowledge. What was your first biggest win that you can remember that really stands out where you were like, wow, I'm going to make it. Like, this is it, the right track?
I'd say playing football, because I used to always go and watch. I played football on every Monday at six-a-side kind of team, and I went and watched them like pretty much every game for the. So this was, I had my, I don't know the exact time when I started playing again, but there were a few times where I tried to play a little bit and I'd have an AP and it wasn't good. But yeah, I'll go along and watch all the time, and then finally, yeah, I'd say I'm not sure when it might have been. It might have been November, maybe just after joining the program, because I already got built a bit of traction from the meditation that I was doing. Just getting over that crisis kind of, I feel like, boosted me. Like my mood was just getting better. Lightning process also helped me a little bit. And then joining your program, just basically, I really hammered it into myself. I was like, you know what, I'm going to play, and whatever happens, happens. Like, I wasn't predicting an AP, but I was like, if one comes, I'm just going to handle it. I'm going to respond well to this. And yeah, I played. Yeah, I was sensible with it, but it's still quite intense on six-a-side. Like, even though I gradually started building up over time, but yeah, maybe I think it was like 5 minutes a half, and then 10 minutes a half, 15 minutes. Now I play a whole game, and I'm fine, which is amazing. Like, it's crazy to think now I'm doing all this now when I think back to a few years ago. But yeah, playing football, I just remember being on the pitch playing, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm actually getting better, and especially like it almost like really sunk in, like after I'd played football a few times, I was like, now I'm playing like, I don't know, the 5th time now, and nothing's happened yet. Like, I'm not all the way down here. Like I was like, so this proves that it's working. Like, I'm consistently, like, I'm not getting any worse. Basically, I'm playing and I'm.
Americans, for you guys,
Soccer.
I think we call it soccer. Is that kicking the
Yeah,
ball around?
yeah, with the goals and yeah,
Yeah,
soccer.
net and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So that is a massive win. It's always, the reason I ask that is it's always those first big wins that kind of light that spark and that flame that really just give you a lot of momentum that kind of carries you through your next handful of adjustment periods and really sets that spark for everything else. That's like that first aha moment where you realize, wow, this stuff is actually working. There's like a predictable way to make progress. It's not just up to luck or waiting. And, you know, if you wait long enough, then you'll get better. It's like, you can actually do stuff to get better, and it works. That was Mindshift for me. And for me, that was like getting into a wheelchair. And for different people, it's different things, but it's basically like breaking that mental belief, right? That you're not as fragile as you think you are. And actually you can handle certain activities that you never thought you'd do again, or at least at that level.
Yeah. It's like I could feel my world kind of expanding, like opening up again, like the excitement that I started to feel, and gratitude, and just for the being on your program, like just that community is like, just, I was just so happy, like on those group calls, like everyone lives. I actually stayed on the program a bit longer than I planned on. I was going to probably come off it like 3 months before, or 2 months before, but I was like, it's just too good. Like the community is amazing. But yeah, it's like, yeah, just that feeling of everything's kind of starting to expand, and you kind of feel the momentum going and the ball's rolling, and things are just getting easier and easier and easier. Everything's not so heavy and pulling you back. You're almost like, yeah, you're a lot more open to everything. Like responding well is just keeps it so simple, but that's what you need, because all the overcomplicating things and symptoms and how you're going to feel, and if this is going to do this or that's oh no, this might send me into an AP, or that's so much mental energy that you waste on basically micromanaging your life and what you're doing. Whereas my mentality was kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever and then handle the AP well. Obviously, be sensible. I wouldn't, do a 50-mile marathon or something. But yeah, it was almost like I'm not going to put any energy anymore to like how much did I do that day, or did I do that, or that might have been too much. That's where I really feel like, well, just really confident in responding well and not caring about the symptoms. It just got easier and easier and easier. The less I care about the symptoms, the less intense they are, the less common, like the less frequent they are. It's really weird. It's like really strange. The more you resist it, the more it bothers you, the worse it gets. The more you don't care, the quicker I feel like things just got better, basically.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. In terms of the community, because that's one of the biggest aspects of the academy, and like part of why I think people get a whole lot better is just they feel like they're not doing it by themselves. You're on the same journey or a similar journey as other people who are kind of right by your side. And I feel like it's almost like everybody's moving towards this one goal. And some people, sometimes they're ahead, sometimes they fall back, but nonetheless, everybody's kind of moving in that same direction together. So how much of an impact did being on calls and just talking to other people in the community make for you? Just knowing you're not the only one going through this.
Yeah, it was really helped. Like obviously all the video modules and everything. But the calls and the community really, just talking to everyone in there, knowing that you're not alone and you can, talk to everyone and get so much help and advice from everyone. The amount of times where I kind of have like a difficult day where I'm kind of like starting to lose. There were so many days where I almost kind of think, is this actually working, or I'll start losing a bit of hope. Symptoms would come up again and I wouldn't realize, but I wasn't responding well. And then I'll go on that call, and then straight away, I just realized I've not been responding well. I've been doing black and white thinking and behaviors, which, it just almost like reset me every time. And every time after a call, I'll just be like, I feel so much better. And I feel like I've just shifted my brain and my nervous system, everything in the right direction again. Because so many times we kind of start to steer off, and then I'll have the call, and then right, it would just put me back on the right path. It was another reason why I actually stayed on the program for longer, just because I was like, I'm gonna get this path so like ingrained that there's no other way, like there's no way I can come off this path like once it's just hammered in. And even now, like I'd say I'm like 97% recovered. Like I feel like when you get to like 90%, it's very slow after that because you're pretty much recovered, and then it's just little things, gradually symptoms just start to disappear, other symptoms and little things. But even now, sometimes maybe I'll get a couple symptoms from doing something, but it doesn't last long at all, and I respond like it's just natural and it's gone before I know it, and I'm fine. And actually, when I talk to my friends and everything like that, sometimes I'm like, like I always, anytime I'd feel a little bit rough or anything, it's like up CFS, AP or whatever. But I like gotta remember, like normal people have rough days and just feel a bit rough, and so those days, I'd always kind of be like, oh, maybe it's that coming back. But no, it's like, I literally like 3% to go, where I feel like once I've just done like a crazy workout and done like so much stuff, then I'm like, okay, I'm fully 100%. But
I see what you're saying. So for people watching this right now, and they're in the trenches where you were, and they're struggling. Maybe they're even dealing with some derealization and that existential crisis. I think everybody actually at some point during their CFS journey, they get to that point where they start asking themselves, why? Like, what's the point of all of this? What is the purpose? Because at this point, I'm just existing. Like, what am I meant for? Why am I even here? I ask myself that a lot of times. Luckily, I've found my purpose and path now through recovery, and helping other people. But what are some things you can do now that you couldn't do a year ago? Because it was only a year ago when you were really, really digging yourself out of the trenches and, getting over that existential crisis. So what are some things you could do now that you couldn't do a year ago?
Pretty much everything. Like the only reason why I say I'm not 100% is because I haven't actually gone like, oh, screw it, I'm just gonna go absolutely crazy and just go on like a run every single day and work out and play football and have a really stressful day at work and get no sleep and all these. To be fair, any normal person doing all that stuff would probably end up feeling a bit rough. But I can literally do everything. Playing football now every week. I can play the full game. I can push myself. I'm back at the gym. I'm working out. I can lift heavy. Like I remember that was a big what do you call it, moment where I was like in the gym and I was really like actually working out, like lifting weights again. I was like, wow, like feeling that pump and actually that you get some pain afterwards, but good pain. Like you can tell the difference. It's not CFS crash
Muscle soreness. Right?
Yeah. And that was just like, I was so happy to feel that. I was like, oh yes, my chest, like it hurts, but it feels amazing. I'm working. I'm actually still part-time, but it's because I'm actually just enjoying life, really. I'm like, you know what? I'm just kind of just enjoying life and just doing more things that I want to do and not putting so much time into my workplace, like putting all my energy into work all the time. And I'm actually I'm looking at getting a new job as well soon. I've been in that job for 9 years now, so it's been a long time, and I'm finally looking for a change to actually, don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure that out, but I'm going to do something that I really want to do, which isn't, I feel like I can think about it. I feel like I can make more conscious decisions about what I want to do now because of the awareness that I've kind of got from this program and from meditating and everything like that. Things are a lot clearer, basically. So I'm trying to really think, what do I want to do with my life? And because I don't have to work this 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life that I don't enjoy anymore. I can do something else.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, you've come such a long way, and it's cool that you're back in the gym again, being really active. Like that's one of the telltale signs that, at least in terms of physical capacity, you're pretty much there. It would take a lot for you to have to go backwards, essentially, and a lot of ignoring the signals that your body's giving you. But the cool thing is once you recover and get to this stage intentionally, and you know exactly what you did in order to recover, it's also very easy to see what to look out for in terms of signs that things are going off track. And that awareness that you have now is going to keep you moving in the right direction. And, it's kind of like what I have right now. I'm still expanding my capacity, but I'm just doing it at a much higher level in terms of like, I'll go travel to 5 cities in 4 days or, do a whole bunch of stuff. But the way I see it is like, I'm constantly building my threshold, and I completely got rid of this whole notion of getting to 100% because 100% means like mission complete. You can't go any higher than 100%. So I looked at it as like a certain bar I have to reach. And that bar is one, like how much can I do physically? How much can I do mentally and cognitively? But most importantly, what is my quality of life like? How much can I squeeze out of life while maintaining a high quality? Like I'm able to enjoy it. And for me, that bar has been surpassed a long time ago. And it's an interesting way to look at it, but you're in the exciting part of your journey where you're working your way back into life. So exciting to see.
Well, that's a better way to actually look at it. Because to be fair, actually, Junior in the program, he did tell me, he's like, get rid of that 100% thing, like that. And it's true, actually. There is no 100. Like, I think everyone's always a work in progress. Like in the sense of just life. Like we're always learning new things, whether it's CFS or something else, other areas of my life like that I can improve and stuff like that. And even away from CFS and everything like that, just difficult situations and stress at work, things going on that are quite hard to handle for anyone. I feel like I'm way better than what I was before I got sick at dealing with all sorts of things, all sorts of stresses. I feel like I'm just so much calmer now. I'm not on this high alert kind of like where I'm always kind of like analyzing everything and need to know everything. And I feel like I'm finally just calm. I'm laid back and I can actually just, start enjoying life instead of resisting everything in life. And
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing some of your story and a lot of your wins and progress. It's just, I'll say it again. It's so cool seeing you getting back into working out and being really active, because that's usually what people strive for. It's like, can I go back to exercising? Is it even possible? Or if I try it again, will I end up crashing? So to see you doing that full on workouts is going to be super inspiring to a lot of people watching this right now. So is there any other message you would like to share with people watching this right now and they're where you were about a year ago?
I'd say the main thing is just keep it simple. Respond well, like you say, just respond well to whatever's going on, whether it's symptoms or your emotional state, your thoughts, whatever's going on, just respond well. Things do get better, even though it might not feel like they do. But again, you need to respond well to that thought. Kind of just be aware of everything that's going on, like in a healthy way. Responding well. Keeping it simple is really what changed it for me, because I used to just overcomplicate everything, and all that is just so much clutter and noise and everything. And when you just need to focus on responding well, it just makes it so much easier. Believe that recovery is possible. Once I've fully really believed, that's when my recovery sped up as well, where I was like, I know I can get better. I'm seeing the improvements. I'm literally like seeing myself improve, so it shows that it's working. I would always go back to that. Sometimes I'd maybe have a slight little slip up or feel a little bit rough, and then I'll kind of stop and I'll just go, okay, like I'll just stop and just breathe, and then just really think about the thought and kind of look back and go, look how far I've come. This hasn't just magically just randomly happened. It's because I'm doing the right things, just keep going, and don't put pressure on yourself to get better in a certain amount of time as well. That's something where I was like, I want to be better by this time, and it's just, again, you're not accepting the reality. You just need to accept where you are and just respond well.
There you go. You heard it from Michael, guys. So if you did find some value out of this, I'm sure you've taken away some golden nuggets or resonated with something. Just comment down below, what was your biggest takeaway from the last hour of this conversation? And if you did need some extra help, you can always apply to work with us inside of one of our programs. Like, just click the link, fill out the questionnaire, and see if you're a good fit, see if we could help you. But Michael, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. And for you guys watching this right now, always remember, you are a thriver, and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. See you guys in the next video. Michael, thanks so much, and keep on crushing it, dude. Keep on crushing it. Cheers.
Thank you. See it.
Say that CFS recovery is absolutely the real deal.
I actually felt like somebody had an answer, like somebody explained what